Yeah, so that's what I'm saying to you. Like they constantly in all like the reviews and everything, they go back and they say, "Well, no, this is she's a great actor, and you guys are just racist." And hold on. All of this criticism, legitimate criticism, and all you're saying is that, oh well, you're just racist then, or you're just trying to justify all these character, like all their habits and everything. It's just not that good. And you know
Talking
what?
about Kenobi.
And here's the thing: there's no excuse because you guys are one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world, with the most money. You can hire whatever talent you want. You can just pump money and talent into this thing, and you still give us garbage and say eat it up. Okay.
Well, dude, in regards to the racist thing, because I've been watching a lot of like there's this YouTube channel called Star Wars Theory and does breakdowns and stuff, and the consensus is the same. I don't have a problem with the actress. I have a problem with the character. Her character just
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Exactly.
Why is she there?
I have a problem. I have a problem with the dialogue, the not the acting, but the written lines, the motivations, the okay. Yeah, she's all ambitious and powerful, and then all of a sudden she's doing it. I'm doing it all just to get close to Vader, though, for revenge.
It sort of makes sense, but at the same time, I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking about her motivate, like, Kenobi, you can't escape, and then you find out, oh, I'm doing it to get close to Vader. And I'm like, then why were you so hell bent on getting like? Why were you so mad? Your anger is not justified anymore, so it just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. It's there's some kind of Greek word for that. Like Greek playwrights would use it, where it's like you write yourself into a corner, and so you invent a magic wizard in order to get yourself out of the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know the word for it. It's basically like you wrote yourself into a corner, so it's akin to, and then they woke up. That's one of those, that's one of those plot devices that people use to basically like refresh the slate of writing. I don't know what it's called, but
And did you ever watch Star Wars Rebels?
yeah, dude, that show was awesome.
Yeah, so that's where the Grand Inquisitor is from, and everyone, oh my God, the Grand Inquisitor!
Yeah, I
and then it's
recognize
like,
that immediately.
let's stab this guy. Get him out of there. Like, why? Dude, when I saw the trailer, I was like, dude, freaking, like, you guys are putting the cartoons in, like, they got Ahsoka in there in Mandalorian. I was like, oh, this is cool, and they did her proper. Like, that's all.
You
cool.
guys have a rich universe to draw inspiration and like a great story from. You had time to do it. You had plenty of good writers. I mean, maybe you just don't know any writers because you're all in a bubble now.
Well,
maybe you're all just stroking each other and you're just like, oh, it's so good. Oh, this is our vision. This is our vision for where Star Wars is going. And just blind.
Well, from what I understand, I think the reason that The Mandalorian was so good is because Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau had a huge part in that. And I could be totally wrong on this. They don't have as big a part in Kenobi as they did Mandalorian.
Did you ever read Thrawn?
No.
Dude, I really hope that they don't adapt that because the books are so good that I really don't want them to bastardize. I saw this tweet the other day that was like, you don't need to tell people, I hope you die. You need to tell them, I hope your favorite novel gets a TV adaptation with the worst actors and the cast is terrible. And I was like, that would be worse. I don't know if there's a focus issue or something, but anyway,
it's on autofocus. So
we'll
work it out next
the whole
time.
reason is like what I was saying about torturing a Wookiee. So like but the way that came up was I was watching A New Hope, and the scene where he's like, "That's because droids don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that." And I was like, dude, if I was sitting there at that quote chess table, Chinese chess table, because it's a circle or whatever,
yeah,
I would just, they're known to do that, huh? Yeah.
That's like
that's what the world's coming to, like a Goodfellas or something. Like you're not. I basically what I wanted to do was like, oh, Wookiees are known to do that, huh? And then we tase him and knock him out, and then chain him up, and we're just punching him like, oh, you strong now, huh? Big man now, huh? Backhanding him with a glove. Yeah, and it's like one of us gets too zealous, and we're like just beating him with one of those like electrified nightsticks that they use.
Yeah, for the saber blockers or whatever.
Until he's like just laying unconscious and just still beating him. Like, you want to pull my arms out? All right, he's dead.
But they did that in the first Indiana Jones. Remember with the
Oh,
guys
yeah.
doing the saber trick and then it just
Yeah.
done.
But anyway, the whole point is like they thought they had Chewie, and they just kind of he's looting the body because who cares about honoring the dead, and he just wait, oh, it was pregnant.
Oh man. No, but I was saying before the podcast.
Double homicide.
Before we, that's a whole other topic. Before we move on, I was saying before the podcast that Kenobi, like I wouldn't say, I don't know if he saved the original trilogy, but like came back as a fourth ghost. Like, oh, we still got Kenobi, and then the prequels. I enjoyed the prequels, but Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi really saved it, and then they gave him his own show, and it's like, this makes no sense. Why is he with Leia? Why is he off planet? Why is like it's like you were saying, they just decided to fill in the gaps that that weren't missing.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean weren't missing?
Like everyone was wondering, oh, what was Kenobi doing in between? And sure, yeah, that would be cool to find out, but the way they're doing it, it's like, this doesn't make sense. Like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. But they have this whole rich backstory now, and they know each other.
Yeah. So I think
now.
I think what they're doing is, I don't know a lot about like screenplays and how they write shows, but what I do know is that they write them as they're released and stuff. They usually don't write the entire set and then go do it.
Yeah.
But successful shows do. Like, I'm pretty sure Game of Thrones did that. They had everything, filmed everything, and then released it. And Netflix does that too, because they release everything at once, like a whole, so you can just binge watch it,
Yeah. Well, I think that makes for better continuity.
I completely agree. So I think they're not doing that with Disney. They're hiring like the old guard of people, the old way of how they do it, where they want to I could be completely wrong, but I think they do it because they want to adapt the show to fans' reaction to the show.
Yeah.
So as you like a character or don't like a character, it can ebb and flow, but it makes for a non-consistent story.
Yeah, you walk yourself out of a lot of corners, and then you end up getting what we got. My biggest issue with Kenobi right now is there was 2 episodes spent chasing Leia. Like, oh, we rescued her, and then she got captured again, and then the next episode, now we got to go rescue her again. So it's like, you just wasted it. One of those episodes could have been cut.
Yeah, and they I don't even know what's going on in the show, dude. Like, to be honest, like you have elements of it. You're like, okay, there's these Inquisitor guys. There's that samurai-looking guy. There's the Leia, but like, there's not like this long journey they went on to where. I'll give you a perfect example. Like in Game of Thrones, like you see clear character development over the seasons, where the person that started is not the person that you have in season 4, but you saw their growth, so you're with them the whole time. You know how A got to B, right? But in this one, it's just, oh, Leia's extra precocious, but she's also kind of helpless because she's a little girl, and so she could just do stuff, and she's just smart and does stuff, and so like she gets you out of a pickle. And perfect example is when they're on that Grand Inquisitorious like pyramid thing on that water island. They're all surrounded by like 2 battalions of stormtroopers, and in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, they're gonna get out of this. So how do they get out of it?
Yeah,
like,
you're basically just waiting to see how they get out of it.
I didn't even, there was no suspense of like, oh no, like what's gonna happen. It was just like, all right, well, how is he gonna Jedi his way out or whatever? And they did the dumbest way of getting out.
Yeah.
Suddenly, 2 snow speeders, who I guess weren't picked up on any scanners or anything, just start blasting.
No.
And I instantly was thinking, like, dude, I'm not trying to nerd out, but it's I also, like, you guys are knocking down the 4th wall. I just want the 4th wall up, okay? That's all I want. So I can pretend I'm in this world, because that's the whole point of a show.
You forgot the most egregious part, dude, is when they're walking out and Leia's just in the trench coat.
Oh,
Kenobi has a fedora on. That's what it looked like to me, so I'm calling it that. And she's just in the trench coat. And, oh, nobody noticed because it's chaos. And it's like, dude, even if it was chaos, you would look at that dude and be like, there's 2 sets of legs in there.
Hey, I'm on high alert, and we're looking for intruders. You look suspicious, at the very least. But the snowspeeders start blasting everybody. It's like, hang on. Kenobi and everybody are in that crowd. You're just like, you know what? Just start shooting. Hopefully we don't hit them, and they get away.
Why did Kenobi have to sneak on there? To your point, they didn't pick up the speeders, so why couldn't he just roomed his way right
Yeah,
in there?
stupid. It's just a letdown, dude. They could have gone really really like space opera with it and used like a more Rogue One setting where
Yeah,
it's like very meta, where you're like there's factions and stuff. They could have added like hut space. They could have added like they're on like the frontier worlds or something, and they could have done all that stuff, but instead they designed these like there's a couple good characters, but most of them are pretty 2D characters. They
yeah.
don't have a lot to them. They have two sides to them. They have like a bad character with a tragic story, a good character who doesn't compromise. Basically, like just very
Well,
very hollow characters.
and the other thing you were saying about character growth, if this is really going to just be a one-off limited series, you got 6 episodes to develop Kenobi into Alec Guinness.
I think that was just time in the desert.
Dude, and that's the thing where George Lucas kind of messed up, right? The 20-year gap making Kenobi so young, or at least young looking by the time Revenge of the Sith came around, and then now fans have to explain it away, right? Like I remember hearing like, oh,
Yeah.
it's because of the 2 sons on Tatooine, and it's like, well, okay, I'll give you that one. I'll suspend some disbelief for that, but
Here's what we all need to come to grips with, dude. It's just not that good of a series. Star Wars is just not that good.
I was thinking about that last night.
The world is good. The universe that it's in is really good, but the writing and the actual movies, they're not that good.
You know, I was thinking about that last night. I was thinking about A New Hope, and I watched it. I watched all 9 episodes with my oldest son, and I was like, dude, A New Hope is like it's okay, and I think I still enjoy it because of nostalgia. And then I remember also watching this video called like A New Hope was saved in the edit, right? But to say, because I hear all the time, oh, George Lucas had all 9 treatments, this, and all this stuff and the things, and I'm like, dude, in Episode 4, Vader was a separate person from Anakin, and it's so obvious. And the only thing that saved him is when Kenobi takes a pause to tell Luke what happened to his father. That's the only thing that saved him. Do you know what I mean? Because he was
Yeah.
definitely a different person.
Yeah.
It gets pretty obvious that Vader and Anakin were 2 different people in that movie.
Yeah, it's just not that good, dude. It's just
Oh, that's what I was
know.
going to say. Yeah, to your point, I think the overarching story, like 1 through 3 has an overarching story, 4 through 5, 6 has an overarching story. I think the overarching story, I think it's good, and it has its moments. Luke, I am your father. Like, oh, bro, come on, great moments.
yeah.
But movie to movie by themselves, it's like I think it's more nostalgia glasses than anything else, but they are good stories. And to your point, they're great universes, which is why The Mandalorian did so good. The minute that they took a character they can build by themselves without any like backstory or books or movies, the minute they did that, they made a great show. That's why I think The Mandalorian is so successful, because they took a time period where no one had done anything, and it's after the original saga. So they can do whatever they want in that sense and play with the universe. And I think that's why that show is so good.
Yeah. Just the after stuff that's not polluted by previous history.
Well, you don't have to rely on canon. There's nothing that you have to do in the sense that we need to make sure this happens so that we can set up so it doesn't mess with canon.
Yeah, exactly.
You can just go, and we can just pretend the sequel trilogy didn't happen.
I just stopped expecting anything really good out of Star Wars or Disney. I'm just like, I'm gonna watch it, but it's not. It's just not good TV. It's just not. It's really not.
No,
Dude.
you know what, dude? And everyone's trying to capitalize on the Marvel thing, and I'm like, you just patience in the right writers is what you need if you're gonna do the Marvel thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, dude, it's. I was talking about this with the client at work the other day. Like, DC, like we were talking about how DC has a great animated series. Like DC, I don't know if you've ever seen any DC animated series. They're really good. They're more adult, especially like the Batman stuff, and they're just really well written. And like, if you would have just taken those concepts, storylines, maybe some of the writers, and then patiently built up to the Justice League, you guys would have been on par with Marvel. But you decided to sprint to the end.
Dude, I mean, I keep saying, I've been saying it for 10 damn years. I've been saying it. But we need a rated R Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Deadpool, bro.
This, like, dude, let's just. I get why the PG-13 because they want the blockbusters and stuff, but the reality is that kids have internet anyway, and they have all seen Deadpool and stuff, and like you're not first of all, you're not protecting them from the trans shit
On a side note,
already, so why just make it rated R?
on a side note to your point, my 11-year-old watches Stranger Things, so
Stranger Things is rated R or M?
it's not for kids, that's for sure. Blood, guts, gore, like sometimes, like last night he wanted to sleep in the living room. He ended up coming upstairs because he was scared.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it's like Deadpool or anything, but like as far as the gore and like
yeah.
adult concepts goes, like it's not for kids. I
they-
mean, he watches it, so to your point, like, dude, just go for
They
it.
need a Star Wars where like when they capture a Jedi or something, there's like a very short interrogation. It's not like where's the rebel base? You're gonna tell me. I'm polluted by the dark side, therefore I'm always angry and aggressive. And even though I'm a Jedi who has control, or a Sith or whatever, massive control of powers and stuff, I'm uncalculating because since I'm polluted by the dark side, I'm impulsive. No, not that. It's just like where's the base? I'm not gonna tell you. Just instantly cuts off his arm, or
Yeah,
just like
well,
just ruthless.
Well, what I was gonna say, instead of just and doing force whatever you're doing to them to like mess with it, like oh whatever. No, dude, take that saber and cut a limb off. That'll get him talking.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, that's what what was I gonna
Just
say
makes me
about
think
that?
of the Wookiee.
There was-
Oh, Wookiee just getting his
yeah,
legs
something I
sabered
was gonna
off.
say about that, about how when people are, that's how you can really tell if the writing is good. Like when they capture somebody and they don't hurt them or anything or maim them, you're just like, yeah, because he's gonna escape.
When he's the main
you
character.
see it a mile away. You're like, yeah, because he's gonna escape unscathed. And I want it to be like where they instantly just start threatening their family, like I'm gonna hurt your children, and just like it's just like instantly put into distress. And he's like, something's actually gonna happen, not just, and then
When we're not just some like messed up maniac who wants to see messed up stuff, but I mean, you want to root it in reality a little bit.
I don't want anyone's kids to get hurt.
Of
But that's
course.
what they would do. It's like, dude, the fate of like star systems is in the balance, and I'm not gonna. If I'm a Sith, I'm not gonna threaten his family. No, I'm gonna start with them.
Well, dude, Moff Tarkin, you're far too trusty. I'm gonna blow up this planet anyway. Like you just told me what I wanted to know. Like he didn't know she was lying. But
now I don't need you. Yeah.
You just told me what I needed to know, but I think you're lying, or you could be lying. So here goes this entire planet.
And it's not even like a big moment. It's just like, well, do it.
Yeah, you
It's
may
just like-
no, real casual, bro. You may fire when ready. Like, what's another planet to me, dude?
Give me a cup of tea too, and crumpets too, while this happens.
Tea and crumpets. Isn't that funny, dude? That all the evil guys are all British or whatever.
That's
English.
because they're from the core worlds, actually.
Don't lore out of me.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, lore out of me. No, I'm
it's because the Empire's from the core worlds, and the core worlds all have this. It's like a same dialect in the region,
yeah.
and which happens to be British, but and they don't like outsiders and stuff because those are where all the best academies and all like the best generals are from. So the prevailing theory is that like if you're building an empire and you have bases all around the world, USA, would you want all your top generals to be from America? Or would you want some like, some from South Africa? No, you want them all to be from the home planet, the home world.
Okay.
Which
yeah,
is
that
why
makes
they
sense.
all have those accents. So. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of like extra, like they call them legends. The
Yeah.
canon legends. I've read a lot of the legends books.
Yeah. See, this the only thing.
And they're super good. They're way better than anything George Lucas made, or they're way better.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I know about Legends and expanded universe is just from YouTube.
I read that two of my favorite books. One is Thrawn. Thrawn is probably like the number one. Like, I think it's canon now, but
Yeah, well, I think since they made Ahsoka canon, I think it, and the Inquisitor's canon. So if they don't flub things up too bad in Kenobi, then I would say that Rebels is going to be canon. Star Wars, the series.
they really
Thrawn
should,
was a great bad guy.
they really should just stop trying to like make all the little spots that we want in the current universe and just go to the old Republic 1,000 years ago and just tell a whole different story and make it
Or,
rated R.
or do
They
it.
should.
Yeah, they should do both. They should keep doing what they're doing with the Mandalorian, right? And then they should do that. They should absolutely stop messing with canon in the sense of let's make these shows that go in between the movies, so now we have to worry about stuff. Let's just do something where we can just write and
Yeah.
write good material.
Yeah, that's maybe not so heavily reliant on.
The Skywalkers.
I did like that Vader, they made him like really powerful,
Yeah.
which I did like because he is supposed to be feared. Like, it's one of those things where like, if you have to one-on-one Vader, like you're pretty much dead.
Yeah, that's I liked the Reva Vader fight because for half that battle he was like, I don't even need my lightsaber. And that's he should be this terrifying presence in the sense that when you see him, like death is coming. You are done. You're not going to survive this.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the topic today?
So I was thinking a lot lately about video games, books, and movies, in the sense that can we learn lessons from video games?
Dude, I will never. I always use all like when I was like 10, 11, and I was playing Age of Empires all the time.
Yeah.
They had so much accurate historical crap in that game that even though it was like some random RTS, by the time I was learning about that stuff, I already knew everything.
Yeah.
It was like even about like the Saracens and the Persians and stuff too. Like I knew all of that already.
Well, outside of historical context, I mean, like when you watch a great movie or a book, right? Oh, these are the lessons we learned from it, and this character arc kind of spoke to whatever. I got no good examples right now, but I was thinking like nobody takes video games seriously. Nobody takes anime seriously. I guess we could tie anime into this too, right?
Yeah.
Because
So I just to iron this out, like
Yeah.
what we're saying is like I can learn stuff from video games, but I also can learn like cultural motifs from video games
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Like for instance, like I have said 1,000 times, and people who understand that these are all mediums of art that all have like you cannot. There's things that you need a painting for or a picture for that if it was like a movie, it wouldn't be the same. It has to be a still frame of like a one-shot thing.
Well, this is why I always talk about with anime when they try to make animes into live action movies. I'm like, there's a reason it's anime. It can't be done.
It
in
cannot
live
be.
action.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm getting at. Like, the medium of art is like it has to be anime. They have to have those reactions. That it has to be like 2D inhuman reactions where they like do their little anime thing. You know, it has to be like that.
Yeah.
So like I'm not talking about necessarily how they like bastardize it with like fan service and stuff. That's a whole different thing. But like the medium of anime where like people survive mortal wounds and you know it's completely accepted in that genre because that's the medium of art that it is.
Yeah.
Or like the way they talk to each other and the number one thing in like an action anime conflict is where like they tell each other their plans, right?
Yeah.
They're like, fool, but you fail to realize it. And the appeal of that is like they're outsmarting each other, right? It's a very Japanese thing. It's like I may not be stronger than you, but I've outsmarted you and I've made 3 moves that you didn't even anticipate. And the other guy's like, actually, no, I knew you were gonna do that. I did it, right?
Well, even the way they talk to each other, right, or the way they react to certain things, like there's a lot of yelling and screaming and stuff that just it does not translate to real life. But in anime, it's just like, yeah, this makes sense in this moment, or to take it to like the silly realm where like with the nosebleeds and where it goes off into a really like comic booky, cartoony like whatever thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So yeah. Dude, there's a lot of. Have you ever seen Violet Evergarden on
No.
Netflix?
No.
Okay, so it's a super slow show. I think it's like 12 episodes or something. It's really slow. Like the first 3 episodes, I forced myself to watch it because I'm like, all right, hold on, dude. Like, they put a lot of money into this. Like the animation's like really good. Let's see what it's all about. And because it's like a book. Like, you don't read one page and go, this is boring, right? you have to like give it time to breathe, which is where all the best shows and books are. Like, it's not just like, oh, were there no lightsabers in the first episode? Then I don't care, right? You want to know, you want to like wait and see, wait for the payoff. So like in Violet Evergarden, she was like a child soldier, and she lost her hands. But in this world, it's like steampunk 1800s, turn of the century.
Full Metal Alchemist style.
Yeah, so she has like these like robotic arms where like she has dexterity, she can type. So what she's doing is typing. So 4 people are like really illiterate, so she learns to type and write. And what she does is she like people have they don't really know how to say what they need to say, like either to a lost loved one or like an interest, a love interest or something. So like they'll hire her and say like, I want you to tell her like how beautiful she is and how much I love her and how much I can't wait to see her. And she'll type up but she won't just type it up. She'll type like, you know, the full moon's embrace gave way to the
A poem.
to the rise of the dawn, as a flower buds and withers. You know, well, whatever you want to say. You know, like
Poetry and such.
The last caress of the moon kissed the dawn on its way out, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So she does that, but she, as a child soldier, doesn't know any of these emotions. All she knows is war and killing, not hate. Just like I'm a robot. This is what I do. I shoot people. So the war ends, and she's doing this, and over time, she's trying to understand like. Her commander, before he died, said, I Violet, like, I want you to live. I love you. And he died.
Yeah.
And this whole series, she's trying to understand, like, what is that?
What is love?
What is love? Yeah, right? So through all these letters and stuff, she's starting to get an idea of what it is through different lenses, like how a mother loves a daughter, how a husband loves a wife, how, you know.
Yeah.
And basically, she's seeing all the sides of the love cube, if you will. Die 20. But she's and so you see the layers of her cracking and stuff, and like I think episode 6 or something, she just starts like crying and stuff. She's like doesn't know why, but because somebody like was so thankful that she hugged her. And basically what she's doing is like she starts going against the wishes of the people that hire her. She's like, they tell her to write something, but she writes something else because she's like, no, that's not what you meant. And so she's starting to understand human emotions like better than people are, you know, even though she's human too. But
yeah,
basically, like, it has to be in the anime format, because if you watch it, you understand that you're like, yeah, if they made this an actual movie, I probably wouldn't watch it, or a show, I wouldn't watch it. But for some reason, because it's an anime and they can do these, like, they could just make it a different world because it's just drawn.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude, it's just like Full Metal Alchemist. Right, where the tragedy strikes at a young age, and then they learn about. Man,
yeah, it's hard to encompass.
I'm butchering it.
It's hard to encompass, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of depth and like exposition into the human soul and the human condition and what it means to be human, and you know, all these like deep, hard concepts to really grasp, which is why we still, as human beings, why we still create art and music and stuff, because something innately tells us it hasn't all been said about this, right? Isn't that why people still write love songs? Because the previous one was good, but you're like, but that doesn't necessarily capture it. And can you ever capture it? Can you ever, right? And so that's why anime, like, in the last 10 years has skyrocketed in popularity, because it's still authentic. It's not polluted by wokeism or, you know, outside forces saying like, this is a good story, but let's inject all these other characters in that one I was telling you about. They're in like I would say like a Dutch, like 1880s Dutch setting.
Yeah.
And so like true to that setting, they all look like that and act like that, and they have like prejudices and stuff, and it's not like polluted with like, let's bring it up to speed to the modern era. You can't, because it has to be in the confines of that, you know, era.
And Full Metal Alchemist dealt with that really well with the Emestrians and the Ishvalans. It was clear, like, the Germans and the Jews, right? But you didn't feel like they were preaching something at you. It was just part of the story, and it felt authentic, and you felt the pain of the Ishvalans. And when Scar, one of the main antagonists who eventually turns to the good side or whatever, that's a cool character arc too, but it didn't feel forced, right? Because he was like, oh, I'm gonna start killing state alchemists because they're the reason for the destruction of my people, and then he realizes he killed an Emestrian girl's parents, and there's this whole arc where he now is conflicted because
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm justified in killing, but now you're justified in killing me, and I'm doing the same thing that.
Yeah. So
And vice
basically,
versa.
what it is like they tell the story. It is what it is, and the audience can make up their own minds. Now, the audience overwhelmingly is going to be on the right side because morality is objective. So that you don't need to tell me you don't need to tell me how to feel about a situation you're creating in the story. Like, for instance, like Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones. Everybody hated that guy. Not because you told us to, but because he's freaking torturing people.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
of
a
course
bad dude.
Of course we don't like him. You know? You don't need to tell me, like, oh, and by the way, he's bad, and let me sprinkle a little racism just to make sure you really hate him. It's like, I don't like him because he's a bad guy. And you don't need to tell me he's a bad guy. I can see what he's doing. Okay?
Yeah,
So,
one that's where I think Full Metal Alchemist dealt with like racism without even like really underhandedly. They were not overhanded with it at all. It wasn't overt like black versus white, whatever. It was just it was just something that happened, and you're like, man, this is wrong. And then, some of the characters realized that this was wrong, and they just dealt
Those
with
are
it.
the best,
It was
yeah.
good. It was good writing.
those are the best. Like, they're like almost like stories of redemption where the anti-hero has a good cause where you're like, I do understand why you want vengeance, and I can't really argue with you about it. However, it's going to come with a cost.
Yeah.
And over time, they realize, like, yeah, I gave away the part of myself that cried out for vengeance by getting the vengeance kind of thing,
Yeah.
So, and anyway, I just want to
Well, I was
back.
gonna circle it back because I was thinking of Final Fantasy IX. I was thinking of Steiner as a good character arc, right? Because his little picture with his quote on it, it's something like having sworn featly. What's the word? Fealty.
Yeah.
Yeah, having sworn fealty, must I live my life in servitude? And he's got a huge arc, right? Where he's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm
Probably
with the
the
queen.
widest arc.
I'm with the queen. I'm with the queen. I'm with the queen. I'm with the queen. And then over this whole game, he realizes like, am I even doing the right thing anymore? Like, what am I living for? What am I sworn to?
Right. Yeah. That's. I was
So
talking about that last night
yeah.
with the dude because we were talking about what's the best one, and he what's the word?
Talking about Steiner, right?
He heretically said it's Final Fantasy VIII's the best one, and I was like, no, dude, sorry,
No.
it's not. I'm sorry.
No, I played
Wrong.
I played that game in the last 5 years, and so there's no misconception for me about what the story is about. It just I don't really like that game. I get why people like it, but the story with the time compression, I'm like, you missed the mark for me on
Can you
that one.
explain that to me? Because he was showing me like Laguna's like theme song.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
so basically, what it is there's this all powerful sorceress.
idea.
No. She's just a vessel. So there's an
Okay.
all-powerful sorceress. I can't remember if she's from the past or from the future. It has to do with time travel, sort of. But basically, I think Adia's a vessel. Renoa ends up becoming a vessel. And basically, she's either coming from the future to go to the past to become the most powerful. I'm really butchering it, but this is basically what I got out of it. And Laguna is also in the past. Like when you go to Laguna Stories,
Yeah.
that's going to the
That's
past.
what I wanted to know. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, and Laguna. So yeah, you're basically going into the past and reliving the moments up until the game, and so I think Adia is the one. This is what really got me about the game. Okay, speaking of Adia, she, if I remember correctly, she had a foster home, and that's how all the people knew each other, like Squall and I think not Zell. A couple of the characters,
Anyway.
Sid. Anyway. The whole thing is she wants to compress time and become the most powerful, and it was just kind of lackluster for me. Like I know that there's good stuff in there, but
yeah, there's
the overarching story
that's-
was just
so
not
the,
that
the
good.
problem with those games in the 90s and stuff was like they're over, like the final thing of it was always like very nihilistic or just not like, it was always, I just want to kill everybody and everything because not everything is meaningless, or all time is it all matter. I want to like return it to a singularity or just
Yeah.
something stupid.
Well,
Like
that's why 9 and 10 were so compelling. 9 until the very end, where you, God, what's the last guy's name?
Necron.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that game was fantastic in the sense that, God, I've said that so many times this podcast already. That game was great because it wasn't about just killing everybody. It was, well, my planet needs a planet, and so we're gonna take your planet.
Yeah, and so like if you extrapolate that out and say, is it okay to like we have will, right? Like I'll put it in a practical perspective. Like say two countries are at war, and only like one's dying and needs the resources, the one that's living. And it's like, well, we have the will to take it from you, and we have like a determination to survive, and damn the cost. And it's like, should we allow ourselves to just fade when we have the means to take it from you?
Yeah.
And like, where's the moral boundary in that? Because like you guys are flourishing, and we're dying, and we need your resources and land, and we also are more powerful and can take it from you. So are we wrong in doing that? Like, is that the natural order? Is that like the strong survive on preying on the weak? Or is the other natural order saying like we should just accept that we had our time in the sun and die?
Yeah.
That's it, and people can fall on both ends of that because you can say you should, well, the moral thing is to let the other people have a turn, but you could also say that to the larger fish. You can say, wait, you've had enough smaller fish. Let this smaller fish live. Why?
Mm-hmm.
His nature is to eat the smaller fish. That's his nature.
Yeah,
right?
that's a great.
So that's
yeah,
the nature
exactly.
of a stronger thing to take from the weaker thing. That's the nature of a black hole, to eat the bright star, right?
Yeah. Oh,
So
good. That. Ooh, yeah, you nailed
so
it with
it's
that.
like so all this from a game, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I mean. And not only that, not only the overarching story, but all the characters that have like character development and character arcs that come to fruition. Like they get all the way.
Yeah, those are like sweet morsels on the journey. But the real journey of 9 was the moral dilemma, and the same goes for 10, where he's like, there's the sacrifice and loss of like, in order for you to live, I need to die, and I'm gonna lay my life down because I love you, which means I'm also not gonna be with you.
Yeah.
So it's like
and that's the theme of the whole story.
The lesser love and the greater love. Yeah.
Yeah.
The lesser love being that like, I love you for what you can do for me, or I love you for what I can do for you.
Yeah.
The great one.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. So being able and like these things I learned from a freaking video game, right?
Maybe I didn't realize I was learning them at the time, but they were being inculcated into me.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, it's it's a cultural force, right? So
well, that's why I likened it to books and movies, because as a child, when you're watching Star Wars or reading Harry Potter or whatever, maybe you're only taking the surface level stuff, but you're gonna probably keep ingesting that medium, and eventually you're gonna extrapolate things from
Harry
it.
Potter's a good example because we all have what we wanted Harry to do at the time, right? There's a lot of times in that little saga where I'm like, yeah, he should have done this, or yeah, he should have done that, and I think everybody's has that feeling. So it's like even if it doesn't go the way we want it to go, we still brought lessons out of it. Like for example, the reason that there's so much more content now is because most of it's trash.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you how many times I'm watching a show and it's basically like the motivation for most of the characters is just pleasure and feeling good. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's like, it's a super shallow way of living, because it's like, if your motivation is just to feel good, you can just put yourself in a room, surround yourself with junk food, a TV, and somebody to have sex with, and you're just like, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. Like that's not like all of us cry out for something a little deeper because we know that there's deeper realities to life. So, which is why I think games, anime, that's become really popular, because those are still true art mediums for that. Like for instance, that's why video games have gotten so much hate lately about not following the woke doctrine of just adding random characters that don't make sense, or like not gaying up characters enough, right?
What was that? Bulletproof? That game up a little bit.
That's That's where I got that from. But that's what I'm saying. Like it, when really the game guy is saying, "Well, I didn't make him gay because he's not gay. I don't know what you want me to do. Like he's just not
Yeah.
gay. But you want me to shoehorn in that he's gay to what? Why would I do that? Like that the story I'm trying to tell is not dependent on whether he's gay or not. If you want to pretend he's gay, go ahead.
Yeah.
He's not motivated by his sexual desire. His whole point is to like save the world or whatever he's doing. That has nothing to do whether he's gay. But if I sat there and shoehorned it in and made it like, oh, I'm gonna give him like a little love interest for a little while, like even like a stupid dialogue scene where he's like, oh, that guy's really cute. Oh, man, I wish I wasn't saving the world because I'd like to stop here and spend some time with him. It would totally break the fourth wall down and be like, yeah, dude, like you were just talking a big game about what you need to do to save the world over here, and then you got totally distracted by your
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry, I was about to
no.
just
No, dude, you're right though. Dude.
like that's not how it goes. Everybody understands that innately, like intuitively we understand that. Like it's like that's not how life goes. Like life doesn't go like I'm on a secret mission with my M4 and I'm going through the jungle and see some guy in a village and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, let's have a little tryst over here." That's right? Why do you guys do that?
Yeah.
Why do you do that?
Well, that's why. Oh, man, I don't know if that. I was gonna say that's why like movies and TV shows are kind of dying. Only some of them, though. Only some of them, right? Only
because the content's not authentic, and we all understand that. We all totally we can see it a mile away, dude. You can't fake that. It's just like really really bad acting. I'm not talking about acting that's not good. I'm talking about when people know there's a camera on them, and they're trying to do a reality little scene,
yeah.
and the dialogue's like, oh no, my tire popped, and somebody walks by and goes, that's what you get for parking in a bad spot.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole thing.
It's not only that, it's like bad acting in the sense of maybe the actor just doesn't believe the lines they're reading because they're not authentic, So it's like I can do the best I can, but
that's the thing. Like you can have the best actor read a line, and if it doesn't ring authentic, you're gonna in the back of your mind you're like, that's not what he would say.
yeah.
Right? That's not even like the nicest guy in the world. If you killed his wife in front of him, he's not gonna go, I understand why you did that. Right? They're never.
I get it.
No, they're not gonna do that. There is no scenario where that happens, and so it just rings so unauthentic, and people reject that, subconsciously reject that, saying I like this because it's promoting whatever woke values I like. Subconsciously, your human nature, which can't be changed, you're rejecting it.
Yeah, exactly.
And sorry, this got super deep, but like video games don't commit that. They don't commit that fallacy.
Yeah.
They have a lot of fantastic, unbelievable things. That doesn't break the fourth wall. The fourth wall is not broken by like this isn't real. No, the scenario may be totally fantastic. It could be a literal fantasy. That's not what breaks the fourth wall. What breaks the fourth wall is this person is not having a natural reaction. So either he's a robot or a clone, or he's an idiot. Okay, because right.
Oh, dude, I'm laughing so much because you're just hitting the nail on the head.
Because I hate when people say, when I complain about a movie not being real, like, oh, that's so fake, and they're like, oh, sorry, did you not realize it was fake because they were traveling in space? No, I'm not saying the whole thing's fake. I understand this is a set. They're actors, and they have little, freaking.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, they have little like costumes and makeup on. I get that it's quote fake, but the scenario you created, their reactions are so fake that I can't believe it anymore. I was willing to believe, yes, it's fake. They're in a setting. They're in space. Okay, this is going on. All right. And now this person is...
Well, let me just say one thing, bro. Ray Palpatine.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened?
Basically, what that whole thing was, is if Palpatine got up there on his little, like, Walker 3000 or whatever he's connected to. And he's like, he basically should have like levitated above everyone and like, I was lying the whole time. This was my plan.
That's what it was, dude. It's you had this great arc. Vader throws the Emperor into the Death Star pit, whatever. And then you're like, just kidding.
Yeah.
And dude,
I read how they backfilled it. They basically said he was funneling resources to the unknown regions the entire time as a contingency plan. And I was like,
nah, get out
that's
of here.
still not right, dude, because as a cunning Sith Lord, you're going all in. You're not going, just in case, I'm going to hide 30% of my resources over here. If it's all on the table, i.e. Death Star 2 at Endor, I'm taking that 30% and I'm moving it on the board.
Yeah.
You don't put your queen in the corner in chess and go, just in case, I'll pull her out.
Dude, and
No.
let me say one thing. Rey's father has to be a clone because I cannot imagine Palpatine just
Well, there's,
up on. Look, I'm just
I'm
saying.
gonna lure out. I'm gonna lure out.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying. I know it's possible, but I can't imagine Emperor Palpatine just taking a break to go jam one out to make a kid.
He was a senator, and he was an old senator.
I'm just saying.
Dude, the whole thing doesn't make sense because it goes back to what I said. It's trash. Star Wars actually is trash. The lightsabers and our desire to see cool lightsaber crap sustains the whole show. It does.
Oh, 100%.
We want to see, even the Mandalorian. Dude, we want to see you against the Jedi. We want to see you do something. We want to see you John Wick out or something.
Yeah, but to be fair, like, this show, it is objectively, like, good.
It is really good because they have a lot of, because you know why, dude? He's super limited, and they don't just like magic wizard him out of situations. He's not all powerful. He's fallible. He has like, you know, he has a code he goes to, but sometimes he like tries to break the code in order to like do what's right for this
good character arc
thing. So they don't just like, and then I'm gonna summon all the power I need and just win.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to say when you said fallible. What was cool for me was they introduced him and he was badass, but they immediately just let him get his ass kicked. And that, I think that's a good thing. It's like, yeah, this guy can absolutely die.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, it created this, it created like a sense of urgency and a sense of danger throughout the rest of the show because it's like, okay, he can lose, and there are consequences to not winning, and it's not just a matter of like in Obi-Wan, how do we get out of this little town? Actually, there's a secret tunnel here that we've been building for a long time. Don't worry, I'll block the way and I'll just kill myself and you can get away. I'm not a consequential
I remember
character.
I was watching the breakdown for that episode where Leia's trying to escape and Reva eventually gets her, and one of the questions in the guy's super chat was, how did Reva get there so fast? He goes, oh, Force speed. I'm like, there you go, just the Force. If there's something that I can't explain, the Force, bro.
Wait,
duh.
Taya or whatever her name is?
Reva.
No, the other one, the good one, the one that was pretending to be a Imperial officer.
I don't know. The guy I watched just calls her Game of Thrones
like
lady.
Anyway, yeah, Game of Thrones lady. She was also in Rome. Anyway, she sacrifices herself with the thermal detonator. Right. And there was like this short scene where everybody's like, she's dead. Okay, moving on. And I was like, yeah, we should have just done that anyway. Like, what happened to her? She's gone. She's gone. Just go. That's the real reaction. That's the reaction I would have. Even if one of my best friends sacrificed themselves, it's like, okay, he's literally blocking the way and killing himself so I can get away. I'm not going to turn around and be like, no. I'm going to go, oh, well, thank you for the sacrifice. I'm going to make it count. Yeah. It's not that whole like, we need an impactful death to like bump up the show. That's a very old guard media way of thinking where it's like, let's kill somebody off, and that way people know we can kill people off, and that, people talk about it and like, oh, I liked her so much I couldn't wait for her to be the character. Nope. We were not invested enough in that character. No. And as soon as she died, I was like, oh, well, because you have not invested us in any of these characters. Any of them.
Well, and the only reason that we're invested in Kenobi is because
that's baked in.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Is it is baked in. We're invested in him because of the movies. Yeah.
Because I've already seen 15 hours of content with him. Of course, I'm invested.
Yeah.
Plus, probably 30 hours content with him.
Right, including the original trilogy.
Yeah. So it's like I'm already invested in him. I'm not invested in any of these other characters. You've given me almost no backstory. They don't matter that much.
Well, and the ones that do have backstory have it baked in, like the Grand Inquisitor.
Let me say this, dude. Like, if a good litmus test of whether or not a character matters is like, what happens if this character dies? What do we lose? And what side loses what? And most of the time, it's like they don't lose anything. They're pretty replaceable.
They picked a character that didn't matter if they died.
It's inconsequential. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who cares? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't even care if she got tortured to death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would care if Leia got tortured or Ben got tortured because, like he's going to come out all scarred and broken. Like, reek. You know, like, I want that to happen to him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And, like, back to video games and stuff, then they kill a character that you really like. You're sad, but you're also glad that, like, something happened just like real life. You can't go back, and there's big moments where things pivot, and that's it now. And now you're on this timeline because this happened. And so when they kill a character that's consequential, it's a good thing because it's like, okay, like, this is a real world with real, even though it's fake, right?
Yeah.
There's real consequences, and you have to move forward. And it's like, once again, it rings true in life because that's how life is. Lost a job, move forward. Girlfriend problems, moving forward. Wife dead, moving forward.
Well, one of the best things that Star Wars did was kill Obi-Wan in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Like, you felt that one. You're like, dude, well, you can't kill freaking Ben Kenobi. Like, what just happened?
And what happened? He goes, no! And then has a little moment of rage, which I would have. I would be like, you motherfuckers, with the blaster. But then they run.
Yeah, exactly.
Time doesn't slow down. They don't cue the music where it's like sad violin music. It's just like he's gone and okay, go.
Well, not only that, but when they're in the Millennium Falcon running away, and he's like, I just can't believe he's gone. Then it's like, hey, no time for this.
But the other characters don't care because they met him for an hour, right?
Yeah.
Luke has known him his entire life, so he's like, dude, I can't believe he's gone. But the other characters don't care. They're not like, I know what he meant to you. It's just like, dude, we got others. Okay, like, there'll be a time to mourn for the dead.
Yeah.
Right? It's, much better.
Yeah. Properly done.
Yeah, I really wish Chewie would have been, like, cut down. Like, you know.
Back to the Wookiee thing, bro. To bring it full circle.
I just really wish, dude, I really wish he would have, like, he would have been in a situation where it's like 5-on-1. He's winning, and there's like nobody has guns or whatever. Like, he's winning, and then like he starts to lose, and then he's screwed.
Yeah,
you know, like,
just like he's mauling people down, and then one guy just gets like a little taser lightsaber deflector thing. Yeah, exactly.
He's like, somebody gets a taser, and he's just like, and then kills that guy, and then somebody gets a taser on him there. And then they get him down on his knees, and he's still kind of fighting, and then somebody cuts his arm or something. It's like, and then they just beat him to death.
Well, because at the moment they get him, they're just going to start freaking out, just like, get him wherever you can, because we got him, and if we don't get him now, we're screwed.
And they're beating him, and he's still kind of struggling, and then somebody finally comes with like some kind of crazy, you know, galaxy far, far away shotgun and just blows him off the edge. You just...
It's one of those moments, it's one of those classic action movie moments where, like, the door opens, the elevator door opens, and you just move.
That would have been a good scene, like where it's like it's all chaotic and everything, and then when the shotgun blast goes off, like all the sound stops and just and he like flies, I don't know, 800 feet to his death.
Get the Wookiee. Oh,
like right. That's another thing. I want while that's happening, I want the commander to be like, bring him down. Just like, get the Wookiee.
Get that way.
He's just throwing like 50 guys at him, like the Matrix when he's fighting all the Smiths, and Smith just goes, more. Just flood him.
Hold him down.
Suck on this.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Hunter,
You know what?
guys.
It's like a Terminator when he finally just gets the minigun. Terminator 2 says, "Let me take care of this. Just get the minigun."
Yeah, they just finally put enough weight to hold him under the water until the bubbles stop.
That's brutal, dude. That's brutal.
I don't hate Chewie. It's just like he would be a character that it's inconsequential, but it's Chewie, man. So if he died, it would be one
It
of
would
those.
matter if Chewie died.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a moment.
Yeah.
And-
We'd give a moment of silence for Chewie.
And then you also can still hire the actor. Just take him out of the suit and have him play another role. Nobody loses.
Don't worry, bro. We're gonna
Nobody-
recycle you.
No, you're not done. You're not done. Go to makeup.
Wait, what?
Get a hot dog and go to makeup.
Oh, that's good stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Look, dude. It's not about necessarily that. You know what? Honestly, I've noticed I've been watching a little bit less anime over time and playing less video games. And I don't think it's because I'm just growing up. I think it's because like there's that sphere is also getting flooded with just crap too. There's a lot of like
well, and
throwaway games. There's a lot of like cheap 12. There's a lot of animes. I'll start episode 1, then 2, and I'm like, I gave it a chance.
yeah, and well, to say that I watch less, it doesn't mean that I don't watch it. It's just this is what I tell people. I have less time, therefore I'm more picky about what I watch. I'm not going to invest in my time into something that's going to waste my time, more or less.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Like I will look at reviews and stuff before I start a big series because I'm like, this is a lot of time and stuff. And
yeah,
I don't know.
Did you watch The Mandalorian season 2?
Yes, but it's been a while. I'm not sure I remember.
So, the point is, I'm rewatching it just for fun.
I need to rewatch it too because it's all kind of merging into one. Dude, there's so much freaking content out there now.
Yeah. So I'm rewatching season 2, and I skipped an episode finally. I was like, you know what? I don't like this episode, and for like, that there's that side of you where you're just like, oh, I just have to watch the whole thing, or I can't skip this episode. I was like, no, dude. This episode, I watched it. It was good when I watched it. I don't want to watch it again. It's the one where he's transporting the fish lady over to the planet where he finds Bo-Katan.
Yep.
I just skipped it. I was like, I know what happens. This is it's a good one-time watch. It's not a good rewatch. And
it's a
I'm
filler
done with
one. It's just kind of for fun one. There's a lot of that in old shows too, like Outlaw Star. There's a lot of like filler ones where like, yeah, we go to this planet, we have an adventure, we leave, and we continue our journey. And there really was no change in like our
Nothing
capacity.
changed. Yeah.
Or what happened to our characters. We just kind of got through a situation.
Exactly. We got them. Yeah. All right, man. Final words.
Dude, I really want to torture that Wookiee though.
Final words is we.
I want it to be mean. I want him to like. Not because I want to see him die, but like that's the rated R scene, right? Like maybe it should be Star Wars, Vader, and it's like about him hunting down Jedi, and like you want to know why he's feared? Here's a rated R version of why he's feared, and they just not necessarily doesn't have to be like gore and sex and stuff, but it's like adult concepts like
murder,
emotional torture.
Yeah.
Or like mental fear of like what he's doing to people outside.
Yeah. Well, that's his thing. He's menacing.
They were kind of doing it a little bit in Ben, where he's like cracking people's necks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that was Vader,
harsh.
Dude. That was Vader.
Yeah, that's what he would do. Is like he knows you're hiding nearby, but like instead of like cracking people's necks, in this one he would like lift somebody up and twist him into a pretzel, and then drop. And it wouldn't just be like it would be like to where like
it would be horrific.
Where like when he dropped the body, it's just you know what I mean, just like you just saw the ring, just like
yeah,
and like you would have rebels walking through the town later, and all their bodies would be like are contorted, like just pain, fear. Just like, you know what I mean?
It's the idea of I don't need to defeat you. I just need to mentally defeat you.
Yeah.
Give up.
It's not a matter of him going around like Jigsaw being like, "Wanna play a game?" It's more like I'm using brutal tactics in order to just force you to submit, which is like Empire 101. You know,
Yeah.
if you read some of the books, you would understand that like the Empire was not bad for everybody. A lot of people benefited from it, and a lot of people liked it. It wasn't just like, Empire bad because Nazi. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like they brought a lot of benefits, especially to Outer Worlds where they had no opportunities and stuff. They're like, hey, want opportunities? Join the academy. Come fight for the Empire. Do your service, and you get some time served, and you can see some worlds and get some training and stuff. And there was benefits to it. And so like the problem was, especially in all the books too, they use a lot of heavy-handed tactics. They go into a planet and these two species that have a dispute over territory or something. It would be just like if we walked into Sudan, the Darfur region, and both sides are like, no, this has been our. Or a good example would be like Israel and Palestine, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's arguments on both sides. It's been happening for millennia. It's all kinds of stuff. Somebody, instead of coming in and talking to people, just go, we're going to have it like this. Well, why? Because we decided and we're tired of you guys fighting. And if you don't like it, we'll shoot you. And
Yeah.
and,
Brutal.
yeah. And if you keep doing it, we're just going to wipe you out. So it's like you go in and you say, this territory is, they do that in a lot of the, like they're messing up the empires. Like they're trying to harvest for the Dunium and stuff that they use for the Death Star. They go in and they go, all right, we're disrupting our mining operations, and you guys keep the peace usually, so you guys need to stop. And it's like, well, they took it from us like 10 years ago. Well, we don't care. And if you even cross this line now, we're making a line. If you even cross it, you'll be shot on sight. And if you keep doing it, we're just going to mow you over and like basically genocide you. And they do. They're just like, yeah, they're still doing it. And they take like a Star Destroyer and not only like kill everybody, but they freaking flame glass their whole land. So it's just like kill everything. And it's just like, so like that is Empire 101. And so like they need a show where they're doing that, not just
an
like
R-rated show.
not just like we're mean, we're better than you. Taste my boot.
Yeah,
that wasn't really their.
We are brutal, and we're forced to
get results.
Yeah, it's a perfect way to put it. We get results. Yeah.
So,
final thoughts.
Punch Wookie. Punch a Wookie.
Punch a Wookie.
Yeah.
Punch a Wookie. Final thoughts. All right, man. This was awesome.
Yeah.
I like talking video games and Star Wars. Yeah. Next episode, we'll probably pick up on this and then go from there. Well, hell yeah, dude.
All right, man.
Good talking with you, dude. This has been another episode of Pathway. Thanks, all for joining. Peace.